This is Schedule 1, where you have to manufacture and distribute your own drugs throughout the city of the world. So much content in this one game. You can go anywhere from your RV to a car to a skateboard. Let's talk about drugs. You've got weed, you've got hand presses, you've got microwaves, you've got lots of stuff. Every little mechanic has a mini game to it. So whether that is cutting the weed from the tree, filling up your water can with the tap, watering the tree, you have to hit the water spots. There's mini games to every mechanic. So how does it play, and is it any fun to play? Yeah, this game has like really good fun to it compared to all the other simulation games, and also compared to all the other drug games. This is definitely one to try out, because I will tell you right now, there's a lot of content in this game, and the progression in this game, you start from nothing. You start from just a few bits of money, one weed plant. You sell it to some customers or give some samples out to expand your customers, and then you can not level up, but you can progress up from just that to having a shop with, not a shop, but a warehouse with lots of weed plants in, and then you can progress even further and have people hired to help you do this, and it just keeps progressing. This isn't fast progression, it will take time to do all of this. There's also a little bit of lore to this. It's not great, but it's actually good for what it is, so there's also lore to it. I won't go into detail because I don't do spoilers, but I will give you detail about the game. So you have a phone which will have all your contacts in. It will also have a map that you can have. You can press tab for the map, it's a shortcut, but your phone's got contacts and different apps on the phone, and this is how you're going to message your people that you need to, who want drugs basically. And then you've got a compass in the middle top of the screen. We'll have icons to where these people are. It's easy to find them. Also, the quest that it takes you on, you've got quest objective on the left side of the screen. You've got some main ones too, and it will direct you exactly where all of this is. So it's good at holding your hand, because actually the city's pretty big and you definitely will get lost here. A few other mechanics. There's police in this game, and when they eventually search you, they will go from your inventory left to right, and you can hold an item in your inventory to make it hidden from the police, and you can do this multiple times. This just means that you can't have illegal items next to each other, but if you split them up in your inventory, then you've got a chance to hold them with your mouse and whatever. It's an interesting mechanic, let's just say that. You can also punch people. Punching people will do nothing the first time, then the second time they might call the police, but you can punch them out of it, and then the third time they're just going to want to fight you back. And I never once died. Some people have knives too, it's not just fist fights, but there's a lot of fist fights to this. So I was punching this hardware store person just because the mechanics are so shallow here. There's no real punishment to doing it. You can punch someone and then skip the day, sleep in your bed to skip the day to the next day, and then they're just going to appear again like nothing ever happened. So it's really shallow. Also the police system, I would say shallow, but you can hit police and they will want to arrest you, and you've got a zone, and if you're in that zone for a certain amount of time, they will handcuff you. If you keep hitting them, they will tase you or try to tase you. Then eventually when you get arrested, they will fine you, but you have to pay off this fine manually. They don't just take money from your bank account, for example, which means if you have zero money and you get fined, you're still going to be decent. You're not going to be like in debt or anything. You've got time to pay off the fine. Okay, so that's a lot of things in the game outside of the actual main focus of the game, which is drugs, mainly weed. When you cut the weed off the tree, you will go to the packaging station and put the weed into small plastic seal packages, and then once you've done as many as you want to do, take those in your inventory, and then all the people in your contacts, you can see how much they want and the money they're going to offer you, and some of them will offer you a really low amount, and then the person next to them will offer the same amount of drugs for like a really higher price, but just accept them all, because either way you're really going to make profit. It doesn't really matter, and you're going out anyway, so you might as well. And like I said, you can give free samples to people. The game has a tutorial system, and it's a great tutorial system, and it will actually tell you that you can give free samples to the friends of your customers. So you go to a friend and there'll be an icon the first time you do it to the friend, give them a sample. It will have a success chance. Mine was 91%, I'm pretty sure. And then if they like it, then they get added to the contacts and they will hit you up for some more. So hopefully with all of this information you can decide or not if you will like the game. Also, I recommend looking at the Steam page. It will give you some ideas of what the progression mid to late game is gonna look like, and a few more mechanics I haven't mentioned here. So this is a nice indie game. It's also co-op. Every single game ever is better with friends, so you can play it in co-op with your friends. I did enjoy my time with this game, but there's a lot of shallow mechanics here. Like I said, the police mechanic, that's shallow, but it does the job, but it's still shallow. The combat mechanic, extremely shallow. Nothing really happens. You don't even get punished. Driving, shallow, but it works, and it's all right. It gets a pass from me, but it is very shallow still. And there's a ton of shallow mechanics, but the main focus is obviously the weed, and the weed's definitely not a shallow mechanic. You've got multiple mini games within that. You've also got a computer. This computer has mini games on. I actually tried the Pong mini game, which is 100% rigged, and that needs work, honestly, because that's a bit unrealistic. Anyway, there's also a snake mini game, which is just basic, but it's fun to play, and you can do this to pass time because you can't sleep in your bed until it's 6 p.m. weirdly, so a lot of the time you're just waiting around. Anyway, this game is fun, but there's a lot of shallowness to it, just like there are in every single simulation game out there, but it is fun. And will you get your money's worth? That's for you to decide, but I will say you'll get a good amount of hours content out of this. With friends, you're going to have fun, a lot more fun, should I say, so you'll probably get more hours out of it with a friend. That being said, it's really not all that fun. There's a lot of boring stuff to the game too. Driving is not that great. Actually going to the people, it's just bland. You walk up to someone and talk to them, and the only option you have is either to hire them, which will be grayed out if it's not locked yet, and it will also, other people will have just a free sample. You can give them free samples of weed. It's shallow. There's just one option to talk to them. There could have been a lot more to it, basically. Anyway, hopefully I give you enough information, and also you've seen the gameplay of what might be good about this game. Again, I personally wouldn't play this game because it's not my type of thing. I don't like shallow mechanics in a game. I want a full-fledged game. That being said, this simulation game has more mechanics than like 90% of other simulation games out there. So anyway, hopefully you have enjoyed this. I thank you for your time here, and goodbye. Maybe I will catch you again.